Welcome to the show, Martha. I am excited to have you here. Thanks for
Thanks.
doing it.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. So your business, the Recover Room. Let's start there. Like,
Okay.
what is the Recover Room?
So we are a contrast therapy spa, and what we specialize in is cold plunging, infrared sauna, infrared light room. We have ozone therapy, massage, lymphatic drainage. So everything that we do is basically to help detox you and help you biohack your life. So anti-aging, um, all things like post-surgery recovery and post-workout recovery. If you're a big fan of Joe Rogan or Huberman, we're kind of like your niche.
Yeah.
That's where you come to like recover and really like be your best self. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. I love both those podcasts and both those guys. Like, they have great insight, information.
they do. And they're
Huberman,
really like
especially.
they're fired up about this like cold plunging. Like
Yeah.
it's like the hot new thing. And it really is awesome. Like when you start doing it, you become addicted. You see how they're so
Yeah.
like into it, especially the energy that those guys have to like do their life.
Yeah.
Like that's what it helps with. It helps with like the energy and the brain fog and like mental clarity, all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
I love being able to provide it to our area because there was really no place that had it. So
Yeah. Do you do it yourself,
I
like,
do.
regularly?
Yes, I started doing it a couple years ago, but I was literally filling up my own bathtub with
Yeah.
ice
Yeah.
and doing it at home. And that's kind of how I just like fell into this as a business because I was thinking like if I want to be doing this, other people have to want to do it too. And I know you can buy them for your home, but I didn't have any space for it. I didn't know where I would put it. So I just started kind of looking into franchises that had all the things that I wanted, like the red
Mm.
light and saunas and plunging and hyperbaric chamber, all these things. And there were none that had the
Hmm.
kind of equipment that I wanted. Um, so I sort of just created it and decided to do it as a business. And here we are.
Yeah. So what did you do before this, right? Because you had some experience in business before.
I did. So I owned gyms. Uh, they were franchise gyms.
Okay.
My ex-husband and I had them in Mississippi,
Okay.
quite a few of them, and then moved to Florida. We got divorced and split our gyms. And I was still running the gyms. And then while I did that, I ended up opening a catering company
Okay.
called Gracious Grazing. And I sort of just fell into my lap and I started doing that. And then um, wanted to get out of the food industry. It was just long hours and I was away from my daughter on holidays and nights. And so I wanted to do something else and I wanted to go into the health and fitness industry. I love that. I love helping people and seeing people transform. But the gym market here is super, super saturated. And there
Yeah.
was really no place for the kind of gym that I was familiar with to open. So that's how I kind of got into this different aspect of health and wellness.
Yeah.
So I sold my gyms and put that money towards this and just went all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So going from, I imagine there's some scary moments there when you have like this idea of like, oh yeah, the market I think wants this, but like, do they really want it? And I'm gonna invest all this money and time and energy into building it, and
Yes.
like, are they gonna show up? So like, what is that? Like, take me through that thought process, that journey of like, I have this idea to you're opening up your doors.
Right. So I think it takes a special kind of crazy to be an entrepreneur
Yeah.
because it's like you have to be, I think, smart and you have to understand business and the market that you're in, your demographics and all of that. But you also just have to be a risk taker because, I mean, I'm only a few months into this business, so I don't know what the end result will be. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be successful. So far, we're doing well. But I just knew that this was a need in our area. Nobody had done it yet. And I just started doing a lot of research on, our demographics and what the median income is and how many people are going into gyms and how many people are listening to certain kinds of health and fitness podcasts and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I just developed a business plan and found a location that I wanted to be in that was easy. I wanted light access both ways on US 19. And I knew with some of the construction that's going south, I wanted to be a little bit more north. Um, And I kind of just figured out all these things and put the numbers together and realized that I could make some money. And so here we are. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, my hope is that this does well and that I open more locations in the next year or two.
Yeah.
And eventually I will have my own franchise and
Okay.
can have other people opening the recovery rooms up all over. I'm super familiar. Obviously, I had the gyms. And so I know how franchise system works. And I love that. There just wasn't one that fit my needs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have purchased a franchise and opened something that way because it's easier. You already have all your branding done and your name recognition. So for me, that's my biggest hurdle is just getting my name out there and teaching people and educating people what I do and why you need it and why it's important, why you should spend money on your health preventatively. So that's kind of a struggle right now.
How are you doing that?
So I haven't really done any marketing yet, like actual.
Just kind of like word of mouth.
Just word of mouth, social media. I'm hoping, that will get me a little bit further. And right now we're in the summer. It's slow. People are out of town. It's hard to like get that out there. But I know a lot of people here. I grew up here. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I have my core people who are coming in and supporting my business. But yeah, I need to get my name out and do more marketing. But that's something that's really on my to-do list.
Yeah. When you were, I want to circle back to like your family of entrepreneurs in a little bit, but before that, like when you were in the franchise business of owning the gyms and stuff, like what would they do to bring in business? Do they have like a marketing plan in place for you as the franchise owner?
Yes. So we own Snap Fitnesses. And so what Snap would do was they would kind of give you like different price points, marketing packages.
Oh, yeah.
So they would do everything from click ads, mail outs, all of that. They took care of your website and the marketing that went on with that and social media. So this is something I'm having to learn as doing this, from a brick and mortar on my own, is that I have to do all of those things on my own. And that is so time consuming. That is such a hurdle. I'm running the business myself and I'm trained in all the equipment and I'm trying to teach our clients coming in, why they need this. And then I'm also doing all the marketing and the website and all the things. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
How do you balance that? Because I think that's a piece that a lot of people struggle with is finding balance. And as a solopreneur or just getting started in your business, like you said, you got to do it all.
I do. Yeah. I think there's not really a balance at first. I think that owning a business or starting a business is a lot like being pregnant and having a baby. That's the only thing I've ever done that was as hard as what I'm doing now. I spent a year doing this construction and designing my build out and doing my branding and figuring out my client base and all of that. And that was sort of like the pregnancy time of this business. And now I've given birth. And, when you have a new baby, like you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
You're not taking care of yourself. You have no choice. Like that's what this feels like right now. There's no choice, but it's just me.
Yeah.
So I know that it's going to be really hard for the first year.
Yeah. And
before I'm able to like relinquish control of my business on a day-to-day, running it standpoint, I'm going to do it myself. I have to. So.
Yeah. I think that, it's like a season of life, right? You just got to push through like this season of life to accomplish your goal. And there's also some value in like learning the business and doing all of it yourself so that when you're bringing people on, you know exactly what you're looking for.
Right. And I don't think I could ever open more or franchise them and understand if someone who ever purchased a franchise, if I didn't know firsthand what it was like on a day-to-day basis from the start, the grind, the hustle.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather owned a concrete company here.
Okay.
And my dad's dad had a gas station, auto shop called Marvin's Auto Service right on Nebraska, right where the new roundabout is.
Cool.
So I kind of went into this, and even when I owned the gyms too, like knowing the sacrifice it takes to be an entrepreneur. Like I've seen my grandfather have multiple heart attacks, and it was a family business, and our family doesn't speak. There are sacrifices to be made to be an entrepreneur. And that's why I say, like, you have to be a little bit crazy to want to do it. You have to be a risk taker. You have to understand that, like, there's a sacrifice, but I'm hoping that it will pay off. So
Yeah.
if I could just continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
I think it'll
To
be
stay
worth it.
focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
So growing up, did you always want to be a business owner? Like growing up in that environment?
No, I didn't. I wanted to just be a mom. And,
Okay. Okay.
I got divorced and my life just it didn't turn out how I pictured it. But I think that, God had a plan for how my life was to go, and this is what I'm supposed to do. And I would never have gotten here had I not gone through all those other struggles.
Yeah.
And when I did the businesses with my ex-husband, I had a partner and someone we worked together, and doing everything by yourself is a totally different beast. It is,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a mom and trying to take care of a house and a business, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's hard, but I love it. I'm like so happy that this is how it turned out, and I would not trade it. I love this hustle and grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something about that. It's just like once you realize that you have what it takes to like push through and just live that life, do
Yeah.
that life or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. Like I walk into my space and you have to come see it too. It is
Yeah.
so
Well, definitely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It was such a labor of love, that the build out and the permitting and the city, like all the things I had to go to get this place open. But when I walk in, I'm like, God, this is mine. Like
Yeah.
it is the most exciting. I love it. And even if
Yeah.
it doesn't succeed, I will never regret like putting everything on the line for this business. I
Mhm.
love it.
Mhm.
And I love watching people come in, and I love helping them. I have a client who started coming in and she just wanted to do the sauna, and her mom had just died, and she's like, I've been in such a funk. I just need something to kind of like get me. And now she's cold plunging every day. She's doing all this fun stuff in there, and she's literally like come alive.
Mhm.
And that's what I loved about the gym industry too, is just watching people transform.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is kind of the same thing where I'm watching people just really blossom. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I've had so many people walk in and say, you put so much money into this business. You should have done this in South Tampa. And I'm like, no, like these are my people. Like
Yeah.
Palm Harbor, this is where my friends and my family live. Like I
Right.
want our people to like benefit from this.
Right.
And yeah, maybe one day I'll do one in South Tampa. But for right now, like I'm a home girl. Like these are my people. I love this. So
Mhm.
I love getting to help my own community.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. That makes it worth it sometimes when I'm like, oh God, I have to work 7 days a week. I have to get up on a Sunday morning and go clean out saunas and flush the water in the ice bath, but then seeing people like that,
Yeah.
it makes it worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What was the build out process like? Because I've never experienced that or whatever, but I'm sure that, like I said before, there's like huge risk. Like you're investing in this,
Right.
leasing the space, and then now you're investing a ton of money to build it out and like
That for
design
me
it.
was the scariest part. When you open a franchise business, they will help negotiate. They have attorneys, they have everything to
Yeah.
help you negotiate your space.
Yeah.
They have designs for different kinds of square footage. I didn't have that. I walked into the space. It was a Verizon store before I signed my lease. It's just a big open canvas.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to picture what I wanted and how I needed the space to look. I hired a design team out of Tampa called API. They were really great, but they also work with really, really wealthy clients.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they knew my budget, and we ended up 3-4 times that,
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
one thing that entrepreneurs always need to be aware of, is when you're doing a build out, especially in this economy, in this market, and just materials are expensive. The time, getting people to show up and work is the hardest thing. And I had a great contractor, but I still had to be there every day, like
Yeah.
talking to subcontractors and plumbers, like, why are you not here? Why are you not working? Why are you not working till 6:30? So I could never take my hands off of even just that part of the project. But
Mhm.
it also is more rewarding that way.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah.
I said, I walk in and I'm like, God, this is amazing. And I did this.
It's yours. Yeah.
It's mine.
It's your
Like
baby. Yeah.
I picked out the tile and the flooring. And so when I'm cleaning it or mopping it or cleaning out the toilet and it's rough and I hate my life, I'm thinking like, it's all right. At least it's a toilet I like. At least it's flooring I like,
Yeah.
It's so that part I think was rough, and waiting on permitting and all of that was hard. And when you bust open a wall in a building, you don't know what you're going to find.
Right.
So that part, financially, I thought that I would be open at a certain time, and it was like, 8 months later than
What
that.
was
So,
okay? So your plan was to open within 4 months. Like the build out was gonna take you 4 months,
hmm
and it took or what?
and it took almost a year.
Okay.
Yeah, about the same time it takes to, be pregnant, have a baby. So
Yeah.
that's why I say like it kind of feels the same as that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're open now and we're rocking and rolling, and it's beautiful in there. I love it.
Did you how did you pick like your logo and design and colors and all that stuff? Is that just like ideas you had?
So I had a vision of what I wanted,
Yeah.
but I am not artistic and
Yeah.
I am very tech challenged. So I hired Hang 10 agency, and I
Oh yeah.
cannot recommend them enough. They are amazing. They did my branding, they did my website, they helped me with my socials. And that was that was the best decision I made in my entire business process so far, was realizing what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were, and
Mm,
outsourcing to someone who was really good at what they do. I'm not good at I'm not good at that stuff, and I needed someone who could help me. They brought my vision to life. They really helped me nail down my client, what my ideal client, who I wanted. I went in saying, I want the Chads, the Chads from the gym who listen to Joe Rogan and they care about their testosterone levels. And I want them, ice plunging. But envisioning my client and how we were going to reach out to that exact type of client, they helped bring that to life. So
mm,
with my logo and my website and all of that, it was so much better than I could have ever even imagined.
cool.
I knew my colors that I wanted. I knew how my place, I wanted it to smell and how I wanted it to look. I could picture it. I
Yeah.
just couldn't bring it to life, and
Yeah.
they did.
Cool.
And so that's one thing I would tell any entrepreneur like looking to open a business is spend that money
It's
on.
valuable,
It
right?
is so valuable
Yeah.
to hire someone who really can help you with your branding.
Yeah.
You have to know your client, you have to know your vision, and be able to bring it to life, because that's what is going to be every client's first impression is your logo,
Yeah.
your sign. And I love what they did. So
Yeah. And even like you mentioned, like how the place smells, like what you feel like when you walk into a brick and mortar like yours, right? Like that's so important. I think it's a good tip, right? Like to do that from day one instead of like, okay,
right.
let me build up a little bit of nest egg or whatever, then I'll invest in the branding and stuff. But
Right.
yeah.
No, from the start, just
Yeah.
go ahead and carve that budget out.
Yeah.
That's so important. And I think that has really helped too. Like even when I was picking out materials for my build out, I would think about my client, like my ideal, who I wanted in there. What would they like? What kind of bathrobes would they want to wear? What kind
Yeah.
of, what are they going to look at in the shower? I tried to make it more about my client and not really necessarily like what I would want or what I would pick out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hang 10 was like life saving for
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
that
cool.
was worth every
So
penny.
Kaylin, I mentioned the our Airbnb before.
hmm
She was the one that painted the mural on our Airbnb.
I saw that she just
Yeah.
did another mural too for like a doggy
Oh
thing.
yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't know you could do all that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Like she's so talented.
So talented.
And she's just so easy to work with. So
Yeah.
I think too, when I met them, I kind of felt at ease with them. Like
Yeah.
I felt like they were my people.
Yeah.
And I think that's important when you're hiring people to help you out in this journey. Pick people who are like-minded and you feel
Yeah.
comfortable with, because had I gone with a different type of agency and they were more stuck up or they didn't try to listen to me and what my needs were, my entire business model would have been so different.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. Pick people who are just feel comfortable with you
Yeah.
and feel like home. Like Kaylin feels like family.
Yeah. Love that.
So yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do at your business? Like the
So
cold plunge or
I love cold plunging. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like you look forward
what's
to
your
it.
temperature that like does everyone have like their own like temperature like threshold like what they can handle?
Yes, and so we have 4 commercial extra large plunges.
Okay.
So we keep them at different temperatures between 55 and 39. So you can kind of start out, I say warmer, but it's not warm. But you can start out a little warmer and work your way down.
Yeah.
I love that because I just feel like it really helps my energy levels. It
Yeah.
helps my brain just function better. But when I started looking at this concept and what I wanted to do, I knew that there was one piece of equipment that I had to have. it was called the Hocket, and it is a hyperbaric oxygen ozone chamber,
Okay.
but it does not enclose your head because I don't like being like closed in. So when I saw this machine and I was researching different types of equipment, I fell in love with this piece of equipment. I went and tested it out and I just felt amazing. So the ozone really helps. It can do everything. I mean, there's 1,200 settings on this machine. So it can
Oh
help
my
everything
gosh.
from eczema, yeast infections, pain, inflammation, people who've had surgery, people who've had cancer. It is unbelievable what this machine is capable of. And for
Mhm.
me, that is the greatest machine. It does basically everything that we have in our entire place built into one 30-minute session.
Wow.
So that for me was a game changer. And that's
Wow.
my favorite thing to do.
Is that like a daily thing, or is that how often do you use that?
So you can do it. You have to build up to being able to do it daily,
Oh wow. Okay.
because it's so detoxing. You can kind of feel icky your first few times doing it because you're just pulling toxins from your body.
Okay.
So we usually tell people, do 2 weeks in between, and then you can build your way up. And then you want to try to get 10 sessions if you can to fully detox your lymphatic system and your tissues and all of that. And then you can do it as a maintenance type of thing. Do it once a month, do it
Yeah.
once every 3 months. It's expensive. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people can't do that, but just do it when you can. And it
Yeah.
really makes a big difference in your energy levels and just how you feel. It's
Cool.
crazy the kind of toxins that we are around in this like society and
Yeah.
in our life, just what we eat and fragrances and just everything that we put on our body. And it's amazing how good you feel when you start to release some of those
Yeah.
toxins.
And we just live with it and thinking it's like the norm. Like,
Right.
it's normal to feel tired or exhausted because I just put in a long day's work, right?
Right.
But
We're
yeah.
not meant to live like that. We really aren't. And that's why this like biohacking thing, I think it's just taken off and it's so hot right now. It's because people are taking more stock in their health preventatively and not waiting until something. I mean, you don't want to wait until you have cancer and then be like, wow, I shouldn't have been using all these plastic things or using deodorant with aluminum in it. I think with COVID, we all learned that we really needed to take care of ourselves from the start. And if we were healthy going into COVID, then we were better off, right? So I think people are just really into it right now.
Yeah. I've done the cold plunge. Like I bought like one of the cheap like inflatable cold plunges. So I think I've done like 55 degrees and like it's cold.
It is cold.
Right.
It's not fun.
What temperature are you at right now?
So I do 42.
Okay.
And I'm really only at 3 minutes. That's my max.
Okay.
I mean, we have people who come in. I had an older lady come in. She was like 64, 65. And she's like, I'd never cold plunged before. And I'm like, well, let's put you in the warmer tub. She's like, no, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it.
Do it.
So she went in a 42 and she stayed in for 6 minutes. Did not even flinch.
Wow.
So I think some people maybe genetically, if they have like maybe Norwegian blood or something, they're a little bit better at it. For me, it's rough. But I think that's part of it is telling yourself that you can do hard things and pushing through when you don't want to is part of what makes it effective, right? So
the hardest part is like it's like the first 60 seconds, right? Then your body, you build like, I don't know. I notice like if I move around in the tub, like that's when the water feels really, really cold like the entire time. But if you stay still
and breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. And you just have to tell yourself, you can do this. It's only a few minutes. You got this.
Crazy.
But it's definitely a mental game for sure.
Every time.
Yep.
I equate that to like running too. Like I run a lot. And so it's like the same thing, like running long distance. Like you get to a point where it's like, I just want to stop. Like I'm done. But you just got to keep pushing through. And that happens like no matter how often you do it.
Right.
And same thing with cold plunging, right?
It's the same thing with owning a business.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Why did I do this? Why did I not take this money and just go live on a boat somewhere? Like, why am I doing this? But I think that's the thing is that it's going to be worth it. And even if it's not a successful business, just for the mental part of knowing, like, I took this opportunity, I didn't waste it. I went with it and I'm proud of myself. So that's how you feel after cold plunging. That's the same thing with owning a business, is with running or anything that's hard.
So why did you open up this business?
Because I wanted to own my own business. I wanted to provide this service to the community. I wanted my daughter to see that sometimes life is not what you think it should be or whatever. And I made the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that she sees me be successful and that she's proud. Because I could have fallen apart after some of the stuff that happened to me. And instead I used that struggle and I went for being the best that I could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm doing it alone, but it's okay because one day someone will see that I've done all of this and that they will find that attractive or, whatever. And if they don't, then shit, I made the best of my life. Like this is a short life. Like I wanted to do it all.
Yeah. I love that mindset. Like that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So here we are.
So where's your the recovery room? Where's that located?
So we are in the Alderman Plaza, right in Palm Harbor, off of 19 and Alderman. I have a very large sign, and I'm in the center of the shopping center. So I'm right there. You can't
miss it.
You cannot miss me. I'm near First Watch, and Living Young is next to me. There's a dry cleaner in there. And that's one of the reasons I chose that shopping center because I work out in that gym. I worked out in that gym for 10 years, the Esporta that's in the shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
I go to First Watch all the time. That's the dry cleaner I use. My daughter goes to school around the corner. Like, this is my community. So we're right in the center of it.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
So go check Martha out at the recovery room.
Yeah, come cold plunge.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
We'll get you healthy.
There you go. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. It was fun.